welcome to another episode of the AA's Live. Today, Jenny and I are here with our guest, Laura. So Laura, do you want to introduce to our listener, give us about a little bit information about yourself?
Yeah. So I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, because it's on the border of Tennessee and Mississippi. And there are no large hospitals in the area that we lived growing up. So my parents drove to Memphis, about an hour away, and where my mom gave birth to me. So I grew up in Mississippi in a town called Arkabutla, Mississippi. Now, when I say Arkabutla, even to people anywhere in the U.S., they say Arkawutla. They've never heard of it. So it's a very, very small town population of just a couple of thousand people, and there's a stop sign and a post office, and that's it.
And no Walmart.
No, Walmart was or any grocery store was about a 30-minute drive.
Yeah, it was really small towns, you can tell.
Yes, so I was homeschooled because there were some schools, but they really weren't very good schools. Where I grew up, at least that's what my parents told me. And so therefore I was homeschooled growing up. I grew up, but I happened to have a really good piano teacher in this really tiny town. And so I took piano, stayed out of trouble, and then I went to college for music at Delta State University in Mississippi. And then I did my master's at Arkansas State, where I got to meet singing.
Yay! Yay! I'm so glad that you didn't go anywhere, because Laura is a really good pianist. I hope Dr. Clark is not listening to this, but she needs to go to a better place.
Oh no, I learned a lot while I was at Arkansas State. Dr. Clark, she's the one who told me that teaching was a strength of mine that I really needed to lean into. And I'm glad she did, because she pushed me to focus more on pedagogy, and teaching is what I love more than anything else, but she helped me discover that.
Yeah, it's so funny. I remember you were there for your collaborative degree, then suddenly it turns like you were a more into pedagogy person than a collaborative. Well, you kind of did both.
Yeah. I did. I took every class I could in both. And actually, by the time I got to my last semester, she said, so what do you want on your diploma? You have to pick one to put on the diploma, because the degree programs were too similar to actually have both of them. So it was basically I have a degree, a master's in collaborative piano with an emphasis in pedagogy. But Dr. Clark is the one that said, oh no, you should keep taking all the pedagogy classes. You should take everything that I teach. And I did, and I'm glad I did.
Both Dr. Clark and Laura are the model piano teacher for me. Aww. They're very passionate. They care about all their students, That's just the teacher that I wanted to be. They were role model.
Oh, you're sweet. I do like working with children, and I love working with all ages, but children in particular keep me laughing. So I feel like I have to be more creative when I teach children. So I like the challenge, I think, is kind of what it is. I also teach some now at a college. That's easy compared to teaching children, which is way more challenging, I think, because just their imaginations and the way they see things. So I kind of try to view it through their lens, and it makes lessons so much more fun.
Yeah, and children are more energetic than you, which is hard to handle, sometimes.
Yeah, and I think sometimes children are not really focused, right?
Right. Well, sometimes it's a matter of trying to get them to focus, and sometimes it's a matter of allowing them to wander off and talk about whatever for a minute, and then bring them back to it once they get their whole little random thought about cheeseburgers out there to the world, and we can bring them back to quarter notes. I had one little student, he was in a beginner book, and he's just learning the very basics, very much a beginner. And he was playing something and had a question for me, and he's like, well, what is this? And I had answered it, and he said, well, that's good. At least you know how to play out of this book. And I said, yeah, I do know how to play out of this book. I said, I can play out of other books too. And he said, no, that's only for professionals. And I said, I said, what do you think I am? He said, a piano teacher.
Whoa.
You need to show your speaking.
Yeah.
Show your level.
But his mom was very, very embarrassed. I, meantime, was laughing. I could not stop laughing. And so then I realized, but what that taught me was I really should play for my students more. I don't play for them enough for them to be like, oh,
yeah,
they're good, you know?
Well, I guess you should do it the first day, like first day of lessons, like
yeah.
on the streets.
I mean, I should. But I learned something from that moment. I don't do this enough. I've got to start playing for my students. Maybe he'll take me more seriously. I mean, he's 6.
Play some cool stuff, like not just their pieces, like the beginner pieces are easy, so doesn't seem very advanced to them.
Yeah, I usually can play Charlie Brown and then they think I'm amazing. At least for that age. When they get older, I'll pull out other stuff. But right from the beginning, it's stuff that they recognize as stuff that they think is cool. And a lot of them have not been exposed to classical music. So it's first introducing them to like things that they're familiar with to kind of pull them in. And then it's exposing them to like different types of music.
Yeah. See, I told you, like my model teacher, like she's a great teacher.
Yeah, from the way you share your experience, like you really enjoy the work.
Well, I do. Kids are great, and they like one of my students, they call like a quarter rest a lightning bolt, and I've never looked at a quarter rest as a lightning bolt, but I've used that ever since my one student said that, and the kids will be like, the quarter lightning bolt, it gets 1 rest. It means 1 beat. You don't play. And I'm like, why is that what's stuck? Lightning bolt. But hey, it's stuck. So no complaints. It's always an adventure teaching little kids.
Well, yeah, I learned that way too. And I learned the half rest is the hat, and then the whole rest is inverted head.
Oh, see, I I draw a little stick person for the like under the hat for the half rest. Mm-hmm. And then when I draw the whole rest, I like draw a little stick person falling into the hole.
Oh yeah, that's fun. All right. Let's get into another topic. I was wondering because, I know that you had friends at your international friends at Delta State. I just wanted to ask you, obviously you guys don't share the same culture and background. Do you find it hard sometimes, to bridge over these differences while approaching your classmates, international classmates?
I don't think so much. Well, I'm a very outgoing individual. And I'm going to talk to anyone about anything, and that's just kind of my personality. So when I have met international students, whenever I meet someone, I feel like sometimes I can be a lot, and so for them, because I feel like sometimes they're like, wait, why is she talking to me? And I'm just like, hello everyone, like I want to talk to everybody. That is more, I think, everyone is always so kind, but I feel like I come on really strong, and so I try not to, especially with just with certain backgrounds. Like when I was at Delta State, a lot of my friends, there was a lot of students from Korea, mm-hmm. And to me, those students, since we were the same age, but they to me seemed so shy, and I was just so outgoing that it was. It was a big contrast and difference in personalities.
Well, that's you're such a character. I remember like the first few times, I guess it's like second time I talked to you. You remember you drove me to a phone repair center for my phone because I told you that my phone was broken, and then you were like, let's go to fix it. We need to fix it today. I was like. Okay, and then you just drove me to like several different repair centers. I was like, yeah, well, this I really like how you approach me in that way.
Well, see, I just saw it as, hey, I don't have anything scheduled for the next hour and a half. She needs to get her phone fixed, and it's going to be harder if she doesn't know where she has to go, so I'll just take her. I just thought it just made logical sense to me, but I've never even thought twice about that.
Yeah, Laura is that kind of person. Like, she thinks she wants to do it, she'll do it. Like,
Oh, that's so cool.
yep.
Yeah, but because it is not easy also, especially like, I don't know, but I don't think like this kind of situation, it's very common in Malaysia. Like if I do not really know you well, I would not really like kind of like offer you a ride to somewhere, I realize like the people here, they feel okay, like just give you a
They're
ride.
more friendly.
Yeah, more friendly, I feel like.
Well, I guess this is the cultural difference, really.
Yeah, there are certain situations where like I wouldn't, or most likely would, not that I never have, I have, but some situations I wouldn't just pick up anyone, but I kind of just go off of my instincts. Like if I feel like it's the right thing to do, or I feel safe about it, then that's what I do. So
Yeah, and then I think Laura was really nice. One thing was because, the way you speak, like you don't have the lazy linguistic kind of thing, that your English are clear enough for me to understand that I think I could talk to you, smoothly without asking, you to repeat or whatever.
Oh, well, thank you for that. My mom worked very hard to make sure she did not want me to sound like, and I quote, a hillbilly. And because we lived in Mississippi and in the South kind of area, and people in the South, we generally speak pretty lazily. It's just what it is. And so she always would be like, she would make me repeat things. She's like, enunciate better, Laura. I could not understand you. And it would drive me nuts growing up. But at least you can understand me. So that made it easier for us to be friends. So yay for that.
Yeah, sometimes I find it really hard, like to talk to some, because they want to be your friend, but they just talk to you like they usually do, and then they have those like fake Southern accent, and sometimes it's hard to understand. But I'm used to it now, but when I'm 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, and of course, so, and maybe everyone knows this, maybe they don't, but like in America, if you're down south, you're going to have the southern areas are going to sound different than the West Coast. It's going to sound different than the East Coast, which sounds a little different than like Chicago or certain parts of Louisiana. Are going to have like all their different kind of dialects and accents and kind of things and inflections on how they say things. All those things can vary a lot depending on where you are. And I've heard for some people, certain areas are easier to understand than others. Mm-hmm. I don't know what your experience is with that, either one of you, but I've just told that sometimes like Southerners are harder to understand because we run more words together.
Yeah, like y'all.
Yeah, you all becomes y'all. If you were up north though, or a certain place, I guess like maybe West Coast, kind of Chicago area, you're like yous guys.
You guys,
yeah, but they say yous guys.
Yous guys.
Yeah, I think that's a very Chicago thing. Maybe just up north in general. I'm not sure, but yeah, down south we just say y'all, which is very convenient because then we're not like specifying genders or anything else, or like if you say hey guys, or hey gals, that's kind of weird. We don't use the word gals very often. It's kind of odd. And so we just say hey y'all, and that just encompasses everyone of any background or any sexuality, anything. Hey y'all, it's just everybody.
Well, I always thought that you guys are neutral.
Yeah, me too.
Well, so it is neutral, but depends on who you ask. So some people are seeing that more of, it can be seen as...
Might be offended.
Yeah, like I guess it's like in English when at one point it was like the default to use he or him when you don't know the gender, like go ahead and write the male one. And because that was like a very kind of like a dominant thing, we've kind of changed that with time a little bit. So we might use she just because, or and so we refrain from saying, hey you guys, I mean, I don't when I'm just speaking with friends, but if I ever have to speak to a group, I am more conscientious of that.
Well, good to know that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the area and the people, and most people aren't gonna like take offense to it, but some could frown upon it. So it's one of those many sticky topics, I guess. But I think like in the South, when I was talking about how like we squish words together sometimes, like going to, or gonna.
Oh yeah.
Or like I want to, wanna. I don't know why we like love our ends. We use ends so much. Or for like ing words, we just cut off the G's.
The G, yeah.
Yeah, something.
Like fixing. Yeah.
Fixin'. And some people say, or like just phrases, if we're talking about slang, then like in the South, people say fixin' to.
What does that mean?
It means, whereas you might think it means they're about to fix something, it doesn't. It means like fixin' to, like I'm about to.
I'm about to. So yeah, I'm fixing to.
So I could say I'm fixing to go take a shower. I'm not about to go fix the shower. I'm about to go take a shower.
So that is.
I'm gonna take a shower, so you don't have to say take. You know, you say I'm fixing.
Well, I was just saying, it's like instead of saying I'm about to, I'm fixing to.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's one that can throw off people. I think someone from up north said, "What is this Southern fixin' thing that y'all say?" And I said, "What?" But fixin', like
Well, speaking about slang, you know, I remember, you know, you guys do use, not you guys, you all.
You can say you guys. You're not offending me. It's fine.
Yeah. You all do use the word "get out," right, as a surprise.
Yeah, like a no way, get out, no way.
Yeah, like the first time I heard this, I literally thought people asked me to get out. I was like,
yeah.
Wait a minute.
Oh, that makes me feel sad.
I was like, wait a minute, why do we need to get out? I was like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of. Are greetings something that like is what's up, or as Southerners sometimes put it all together? What's up? Is that weird?
I mean, at least I can understand. You know, that's quite clear.
Okay. What about the saying, "What's good"? Have you heard that one much?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So that's
more like a British. Yeah, I thought British use "what's good."
Well, I don't know where it started, but now people are like, "What's good?" Like that's just a thing they say. "What's good? What's up?" Like it's the same.
Yeah. How's it going?
How's it going, or how's it going?
Yeah, that's without G again.
Yeah.
How's it going? It's all one. It sounds like one word. How's it going? All together. We're so good at running things all together. I don't even know how people that speak English as a second language. I mean, you two do a phenomenal job. But I don't know how, because sometimes I hear things in English and I'm like, what the heck? What are they trying to say? I'm like, context, please. Because we just make up words and smush things together. And this is why people who speak English don't speak it well, because everyone speaks it so loosely.
So loosely.
I got you. Yeah.
What are other ones? Like, okay, does everyone know like tea or spill the tea? Like, what's the tea?
Is that like revealing something?
Yeah, like what's the news? What's the scoop? What's the yeah?
Oh, okay.
Say like spill the tea.
Is that the same as spill the beans?
Yes.
Okay. So spill the tea and spill the beans are the same. See, just make things up. Like, why is that beans and tea?
Yeah.
I don't know, but beans, people have been saying for a long time. Still, the tea has become more popular in the past few years. People are like, what's the tea? What's the tea? What's the news? You know, what's the gossip? It's more like what's the gossip in a way.
Because you only gossip during tea time.
Yeah, oh, maybe that's why. I've never even thought of that.
Why only tea time and not a coffee time? I thought, you know, most of you like coffee more.
Oh, well, maybe that's like spill the beans. It has to do with coffee beans. I'm just making stuff up.
Oh, okay. Well, who knows? Maybe that is right.
Well, and then one phrase that I just learned like a few years back was shotgun. And I've never heard this in Malaysia at all.
Is that for like, you mean like if someone
The
wants
seat beside the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone wants to ride shotgun. Yeah, some people, so you know, they'll like call shotgun is what it's called. Like, so if the three of us were about to load up in a car and Sinying was driving, I might yell shotgun. That way Jenny has to sit in the back seat. That's
Okay.
what that is. Now, if you were at a party and someone talks about shotgunning something, that could be like an alcoholic beverage, like how fast you can, it's like chugging one down is also called shotgunning.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Ah.
I learned something.
Yeah.
I've heard that phrase used, and I didn't know what it meant until I was like, anyways, in college, and I heard it, and I was like, oh, that's a thing. But it's actually a very popular thing. It's been around for a hot second. There's another one. Been around for a bit.
And I realized there are a lot of phrases using the word hit. You know, hit them up, hit the sack, hit the books.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, it's kind of like a get to it.
Yeah, like hit the sack is going to bed. It's like, why is that sack? Yeah, a lot to learn, really. But yes, you learn this when you're friends with, you know, the local people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we don't learn this in English class, like English lessons.
Yeah, I kind of want to go Google some of how some of these originated, because I've just never thought of them as being unusual.
Yeah, I guess we just learn all the formal English and didn't learn. They should have like American slangs, like English slangs listed in the class materials.
But it changes so much and so frequently. Like someone could say, like, sure enough, or they could say, show enough. Like it could be like show enough, or faux show is all for like it's sure what? Enough or for sure. Faux show, show enough, like those are all ways to say the same thing.
Oh, sure enough. Okay.
Yeah. So faux show enough.
Yeah, we're here to encourage people to study abroad. I feel like all we have been talking is that scaring people away.
well, as well, if they can understand me speaking, then I mean, I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah. But so this is a good example.
Like, if you can understand Laura, you'll probably be all right. When I was able to go to Korea, I got to go to South Korea for a couple of weeks when I finished my bachelor's. I got to like play piano and kind of tour there. It was really fun. But when I did that, I know so many people were scared to talk to me or like to use their English, because they're like, oh no, like they thought I would like judge their English. And I'm like, oh, do we want to listen to me try to speak Korean? Because I would be like, 안녕하세요? And then they would be like, oh, okay, like that's it. That's all she's got. And so then they would talk to me a little bit. but I feel like a lot of like international students, which I imagine I would be very reluctant to try out another language on someone who spoke it fluently, but really, I mean, I love it. I always love it when international students like ask questions or like, what does that mean? Or what did you mean by that? I'll say, oh, yeah, that is unusual. It means blah, blah, you know, and I'll explain it. But I love it when people try to have conversation or ask questions of things that they're not sure of. And a lot of times in America, I mean, people speak so quickly sometimes like, that we say, could you please repeat that? Like I say that to people. Or if it's someone I like kind of casually, I'm like, come again is like a way of saying, will you repeat that? It's much more casual, but I misunderstood that, or I didn't catch part of that. Is all nice ways for like people to say it again, which I use all the time. Those are phrases that you probably just want to become familiar with. Just asking people to repeat themselves is fine, because we all do it all the time to each other, because people speak so fast and run things together that you like miss half of it. And I was born and raised here. So there's nothing wrong with asking someone to repeat themselves.
Yeah. I remember I said it in the previous episode that, you know, in my freshman year, I was sitting in every class, I'm sitting on the front row because I was afraid that I miss anything the teacher says, you know, like I need to sit the front row, first seat, need to pay my 100% attention and just make sure I don't miss any words. But yeah. I kind of got used to it now, but yeah.
Well, I think in general, for the most part, I mean, especially at universities, I mean, in America, we're pretty used to international students, right? And people speaking different languages. And everyone I know is just so impressed with that anyone can speak English as a second language, because we realize it's complicated. We're like, it's very difficult. So, I mean, I remember like speaking with you, Ying, and being like, man, you speak English so well. And you were shocked I said that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I'm not really good at English, but I'm still learning, you know.
Well, I mean, you were communicating and I was like, wow, this is really impressive. I mean, I know some of it is just, I understand that it's got to be difficult if someone is shy and wanting to speak up and speak out. And in different cultures, I realize that's not as common. But in America, you know, people do just speak up and speak out. And if you don't know something, you just ask and you just try to figure it out. And that's not frowned upon. It's like, it's encouraged. We think it's like, I think it's great. A lot of people think it's fantastic. So I don't think people should be scared of trying to communicate. Like when I was at Delta State, there was one girl in particular who really did not speak English well. She had like a handful of words she said well. So I would try to talk with her in a way that she could use fewer words, and I would be like, oh, please just try it out on me. Like just try it out. And so she would and then she would start talking, but once she felt comfortable enough, I really think the whole time she knew a lot more than she let on. But anyways, after a few months, she became more comfortable and we had more conversations. I got to know her, which was great because I was in a couple of classes with her. I just wanted to get to know her. But yeah, she was just shy about her English. And I just always was like, well, you teach me a word, and it was Korean. I was like, teach me a word in Korean. And once she heard how badly I pronounced everything that she told me to say, she started feeling more comfortable speaking. I just had to look stupid first, which is fine, because I thought she was brilliant, and I was sitting here like, wait, say that again? And she'd say it again, and look, me trying to speak Korean could be a whole comedy skit, I promise.
Yeah, I think it's extremely helpful to have, you know, a friend like Laura.
Yeah.
It was very encouraging. I remember you tell me, you know, what we don't say it this way here, but instead we will say it this way. You know, I learned a lot from you, really. appreciate that.
Oh, well, you're welcome. I like the way you said a couple of things better than the way we said it. I remember what one of the things was. Dinner. My favorite thing for you to say was dinner.
I was about to brought this out. I was like, every time I said dinner, I cracked you up, really.
It's so cute. I love it. It's great. See, no need to be shy about it. I think it's fantastic.
Wow, I still don't find that funny. Why did you find that funny?
Because you say dinner instead of dinner.
Dinner?
Yeah,
dinner.
Oh, okay. Dinner. Well, I think I pronounce it as dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, you said it cute too. It was.
That's our accent, right?
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what word you're saying. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just slightly different, and so.
Do you find British accent funny?
Not funny, but I feel like they're very proper. I try to do it.
Very proper, yeah. You got it.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah, for 1 second.
But I mean, I feel like I feel so dignified, and when I listen to someone with a British accent, I'm like, oh, they're so refined.
Yeah, they're so proper, really.
Yeah.
I should probably take notes from those who speak. I say things too much like I was born and raised in Mississippi.
I wish I can meet you in person sometime. I feel like you are really nice. Like, I like the way that you encourage the international student to keep talking. Yeah, because you know what, like, I realize, like, especially for Asians, we sometimes are really lack of confidence when we are speaking English, because feel like, okay, we may not really speak it properly. Yeah, that is why
perfect English.
Yeah, we don't speak perfect. We may speak like broken English. Yeah, that is why we are really, scared to speak, especially in front of American. Like, at first, when I first came to the US, I really feel where's the word?
Intimidated.
Like I just don't know how can I, like express myself better, so that people understand me well, because of my accent, and also because the words I use, like, yeah, I just feel not confident at all. Yeah, but then I'm glad that I meet, like, many people. They spend time listen to me, and I finally keep talking. Yeah. So yeah, it's just I really hope that if everyone can just do their parts, just try to encourage like international students more, to speak more. That is really good. Yeah, like the way that you did to your Korean friends.
Well, I mean, and some of it too is just that, like, I could say something one way, and like there could be 10 people who speak English as their first language and could say it 10 different ways, right? For someone coming from another country as their second language, if it's kind of a little bit broken, or if they kind of say it in kind of a different way, we're already used to trying to figure out how everybody else is talking, because everyone speaks differently anyways. I mean, I'm sure there's some of that to like any language, right? And so maybe there's a lot more of it to English. That's what I've been told. I don't speak any other language fluently, but so that's kind of what I'm doing when I speak with almost anyone.
So I guess we have learned a lot today.
Yeah, I really learned a lot. And I read, language, culture difference.
Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts, and all your experiences with us today.
It's been so much fun. Thanks, y'all, for letting me talk your ears off, for another saying.
All right, thank you again, Laura, for joining us today, and we hope to see you guys on next episodes.